The lights had finally gone dark, the deafening roar of thousands of fans had slowly faded into the night, and the enormous stage that had only moments earlier been filled with music, choreography, and unforgettable performances had finally become quiet. For BTS, however, the night was far from over. Away from the enormous screens, the powerful sound system, the flashing cameras, and the overwhelming energy of the audience, 7 familiar figures were finally able to breathe, relax, and simply enjoy being together. Jungkook, RM, Jin, Suga, Jhope, Jimin, and V were no longer standing beneath the spotlight. They were simply BTS' 7 friends who had spent years sharing stages, hardships, laughter, exhaustion, dreams, and countless unforgettable memories. And that quiet moment after the concert became something ARMY could not stop talking about. The concert itself had already been spectacular. From the opening performance to the final goodbye, BTS had once again demonstrated why their connection with audiences around the world remains so powerful. But after the final notes disappeared into the night, it was the simple image of the members relaxing together that captured the hearts of fans. There was no enormous stage production. No dramatic choreography. No elaborate costume changes. No carefully constructed performance moment. Instead, there was laughter, casual conversation, teasing, tired smiles, and the unmistakable comfort of 7 people who have known one another for years. Jungkook, in particular, appeared at the center of the warm atmosphere. After giving everything he had on stage, he finally seemed able to let his guard down. The youngest member of BTS has spent years carrying enormous expectations. Every movement is analyzed, every performance is replayed, every expression becomes a topic of discussion among fans. Yet away from the stage, Jungkook can simply be Jungkook. And that is exactly what made the imagined post-concert moment feel so special. ARMY have always understood that the most beautiful moments in BTS history are not necessarily the ones that happen beneath giant spotlights. Sometimes, they are the quiet moments in between the laughter backstage, the casual conversations, the playful arguments, the shared meals, the tired smiles, and the small gestures that reveal how deeply the members care about one another. After such an intense performance, the 7 members finally had an opportunity to sit together without the pressure of performing. The atmosphere was relaxed. Some members appeared exhausted. Others were still full of energy. And naturally, Jungkook seemed to become part of the playful chaos. For fans, imagining this scene was almost like watching another side of BTS. On stage, they are global superstars. Off stage, they remain 7 people who can still make each other laugh over the smallest things. That contrast has always been one of the most endearing parts of BTS's story. The night began with the members slowly coming down from the adrenaline of the concert. A performance of that scale demands extraordinary physical and emotional energy. Hours of preparation lead to several minutes of absolute intensity, and when the final song ends, the body finally begins to realize how exhausted it truly is. Jungkook, who is known for his powerful performances and demanding choreography, would understandably need time to recover. But instead of immediately disappearing into complete silence, the relaxed atmosphere among the members seemed to make the exhaustion easier to handle. Someone made a joke. Someone laughed. Another member responded with a playful comment. Suddenly, the room no longer felt like a backstage area. It felt like a gathering among close friends. That was the magic ARMY found so touching. There was nothing grand about it. There did not need to be. The members had already spent the evening giving everything to the audience. Now they could give something to themselves, time together. Jungkook's smile became especially meaningful in this imagined scene because fans know how different his energy can feel when he is surrounded by the other members. There is a certain freedom that appears when he is with people who understand him without explanation. He does not have to maintain a perfect image. He does not have to worry about every movement being part of a performance. He can laugh loudly, make jokes, sit quietly, or simply listen. And perhaps that is one of the greatest gifts of their friendship. After years together, the members have developed a language that does not always require words. A glance can be enough. A small smile can communicate understanding. A playful gesture can instantly change the mood. Their relationship has evolved through countless experiences, from trainee days and small stages to sold-out stadiums and global recognition. They have seen each other at their happiest and at their most exhausted. They have celebrated achievements together and endured difficult moments together. That history gives their friendship a depth that cannot be created overnight. For ARMY, seeing the members relaxed after a concert represents something larger than a simple backstage moment. It is a reminder that behind the global phenomenon known as BTS are 7 human beings who continue to value their connection. The world may focus on records, rankings, awards, streaming numbers, sold-out venues, and headlines. But the members themselves have repeatedly emphasized the importance of the people beside them. Their journey has never been about one person alone. It has always been a collective story. And that collective spirit was precisely what made the post-concert relaxation scene so emotionally powerful. Imagine the room after the concert. The lights are softer. The atmosphere is quieter. The stage clothes have become less important than comfortable clothes. The microphones have been put away. The staff are beginning to clean up around them. The massive venue outside is slowly emptying. Thousands of fans are heading home with memories of the performance still fresh in their minds. Somewhere backstage, however, BTS are simply sitting together. Perhaps Jin is making everyone laugh with one of his familiar jokes. Perhaps Jimin is checking on the others and making sure everyone is doing okay. Perhaps Jhope is still talking excitedly about a moment from the performance. Perhaps RM is reflecting on the concert and discussing what went well. Perhaps Suga is quietly observing everything before delivering one perfectly timed comment that makes everyone laugh. Perhaps V is creating his own playful atmosphere. And Jungkook, sitting among them, looks completely at ease. It is easy to understand why ARMY would find such a scene unforgettable. The members do not need a stage to create chemistry. Their friendship exists even when there is no audience. That is what makes their bond feel genuine. One of the most beautiful elements of BTS's relationship has always been their ability to transition between professionalism and friendship. When the music begins, they become performers. Their movements are precise. Their expressions are controlled. Their voices are powerful. Every detail matters. But when the music ends, they can immediately return to being friends. That duality is part of their charm. Jungkook has grown enormously throughout the years, but his relationship with the other members remains one of the strongest anchors in his life as an artist. The youngest member once entered the group as a teenager with enormous dreams and limited experience. He learned from the older members, challenged himself, developed his skills, and eventually became one of the most recognized performers in the world. Yet despite that growth, the dynamic between the members still contains the same warmth that fans fell in love with years ago. The older members can still tease Jungkook. Jungkook can still tease them back. They can still laugh at each other's mistakes. They can still celebrate small victories. And after a huge concert, those simple interactions may matter more than anything else. The imagined evening became particularly touching because nobody seemed interested in creating a perfect moment for the cameras. There was no need to pose. There was no need to perform. There was no need to prove anything. They were simply together. For fans who have followed BTS for years, that kind of authenticity is priceless. ARMY have witnessed countless performances, interviews, award shows, live streams, music videos, documentaries, and behind-the-scenes clips. They have seen the members on the biggest stages imaginable. But the moments that often remain most memorable are the ones where the members forget they are celebrities for a few minutes and simply behave like friends. That is why a quiet post-concert gathering can generate more emotional reactions than a spectacular stage effect. The stage belongs to BTS the artists. The quiet room belongs to BTS the friends. And that distinction is powerful. Jungkook's role within the group has always been fascinating because he is simultaneously the youngest member and one of the most experienced performers. Fans have watched him mature in front of the world. They have seen him become more confident, more independent, and more comfortable expressing himself. Yet when he is surrounded by the other 6 members, another side of him can appear. There is still a playful quality. There is still a sense of youthful energy. There is still a willingness to joke around. And there is still the feeling that he knows he is surrounded by people who will understand him. That sense of safety is perhaps one of the most important aspects of friendship. After a physically demanding concert, everyone needs a place where they do not have to be perfect. BTS have that place in one another. The post-concert atmosphere would likely be filled with small conversations. Someone might talk about a choreography mistake that nobody in the audience noticed. Another member might imitate something funny that happened on stage. Someone might complain jokingly about being hungry. Another might suggest ordering food. And suddenly the night becomes less about the massive concert and more about ordinary friendship. This is precisely the kind of scene that fans love to imagine because it transforms global superstars into relatable human beings. They can perform for tens of thousands of people, yet they can still argue about what to eat. They can create music heard around the world, yet they can still laugh at an inside joke that nobody else understands. They can stand under enormous spotlights, yet they can still appreciate sitting quietly beside their closest friends. That is the emotional heart of BTS. The bond is not created by fame. The fame came later. The friendship existed before the world knew their names. Their journey began long before stadiums, international tours, and global headlines. The members struggled together, practiced together, learned together, and grew together. Those early experiences created a foundation that cannot easily be replaced. Every major achievement adds another chapter to their story, but the foundation remains the same. 7 individuals became a team, and the team became a family-like friendship. For Jungkook, the presence of the other members has been especially important because he grew up professionally alongside them. Many of his formative years were spent learning what it meant to be an artist while simultaneously navigating the extraordinary pressure of becoming famous. Having 6 people beside him who understood that experience firsthand must have created a unique form of support. They did not need explanations. They were living through the same transformation. They understood the excitement and the fear, the success and the exhaustion, the applause and the criticism. That shared history is impossible to replicate. Perhaps that is why even the smallest post-concert interaction can feel meaningful to fans. It represents years of shared memories condensed into one simple moment. When Jungkook laughs at something Jin says, fans are not only seeing 2 members laugh. They are seeing years of friendship. When Jimin checks on Jungkook, fans see the countless moments when the members supported one another. When Taehyung joins the conversation, fans remember their long history of playful interactions. When RM speaks, fans remember the leader who guided the group through some of its most important moments. When Suga makes a quiet joke, fans remember his unique personality within the team. When Jhope brings energy into the room, fans remember why he has always been associated with optimism and performance. Every interaction carries history. That is why the post-concert scene feels larger than itself. It is not just one night. It is a reflection of everything they have experienced together. The concert itself may have been filled with spectacular moments, but the quiet aftermath reveals another kind of beauty. There is something deeply human about watching performers finally relax after giving everything they have to an audience. Their shoulders become less tense. Their expressions become softer. Their voices become quieter. They laugh differently. The pressure disappears. And for BTS, that transition can be especially meaningful because their performances operate at such an extraordinary level. They are expected to deliver perfection. But friendship does not require perfection. In friendship, you can be tired. You can be silly. You can be quiet. You can make mistakes. You can complain. You can laugh at yourself. And you can simply exist. That freedom may be one of the reasons the members continue to treasure their time together. ARMY often talk about the BTS family, and while the members themselves may describe their relationship in different ways, there is no denying the depth of their shared history. They have spent years traveling together, rehearsing together, eating together, filming together, celebrating together, and sometimes simply sitting in the same room. That amount of shared time naturally creates an extraordinary bond. It also creates thousands of inside jokes and memories that outsiders can only partially understand. During the imagined post-concert relaxation, those memories would naturally come alive. A single phrase could remind them of something that happened years ago. A particular song could trigger a story from an earlier tour. A joke could bring back memories from their trainee days. They would not need to explain everything because they already know the context. That is the kind of friendship fans find beautiful. Jungkook, despite being the youngest, has also become someone the others can rely on. His growth has been visible. He is no longer simply the youngest member following the older members. He has developed into a mature artist with his own identity, while still maintaining the playful relationship he has with the group. That balance is fascinating. He can be fiercely professional on stage and completely relaxed with the members afterward. He can lead a performance with confidence and then sit quietly among the group like any other friend. This ability to switch between worlds is part of his appeal. The post-concert moment also highlights something important about the emotional side of touring. Performers often experience an unusual cycle. Before the show, adrenaline builds. During the show, everything becomes intense. After the show, there can be a sudden emotional drop. The lights disappear. The audience leaves. The energy changes almost instantly. Having close friends around during that transition can make a tremendous difference. Instead of returning to an empty room after an overwhelming performance, the members can share the experience together. They can say, "That was amazing." They can laugh about something unexpected. They can talk about the audience reaction. They can celebrate the moments that went perfectly and joke about the moments that did not. In other words, they can process the experience together. That shared emotional space may be one of the hidden strengths of BTS. They do not have to carry every experience individually. They have one another. And for ARMY, that is deeply comforting. Fans have supported BTS through years of change. They have watched the members evolve individually and collectively. They have celebrated solo projects and group activities. They have witnessed new music, new performances, new challenges, and new chapters. Through all those changes, one thing remains particularly comforting: the idea that the 7 members can still find happiness in one another's company. A relaxed evening together becomes symbolic of continuity. The world changes. Their careers change. Their responsibilities change. But the friendship remains. That is why fans reacted so warmly to the idea of Jungkook and BTS finally having time to relax together after the concert. It was not about glamour. It was about connection. It was about seeing the members away from the pressure of performance. It was about remembering that even global superstars need moments of peace. And perhaps most importantly, it was about seeing Jungkook surrounded by people who have known him for so long. One can imagine Jungkook sitting comfortably while the others talk around him, occasionally joining the conversation and laughing. Maybe someone teases him about his performance. Maybe he responds with a playful expression. Maybe Jimin laughs at his reaction. Maybe V adds another joke. Maybe Jin turns the entire conversation into comedy. Maybe Jhope starts reenacting a dance move. Maybe RM watches the chaos with a smile. Maybe Suga simply shakes his head and laughs. It does not matter exactly what they say. The emotional meaning is the same. They are together. And sometimes together is enough.